What does the School Nutrition Association offer its members, and how is a local mom seeing school meals firsthand? Join me next on Food for Thought. Hi, I'm Jodi, the host for Food for Thought, and thanks for watching. Today I'm honored to host Kelsey Casselbury, a contributing editor with the School Nutrition Association and one of our local moms in Anne Arundel County Public Schools. Welcome, Kelsey, to Food for Thought.
I'm honored to be here. Thank you.
Can you tell the viewers just a little bit about yourself? I know we're going to dive into your role at the School Nutrition Association and what you do for your professional life, but why don't you tell them a little bit about yourself and maybe your family?
Sure. So I am a local mom, as you said. I have a 5-year-old kindergartner at Piney Orchard Elementary School in Odenton. And locally, I am also the president of the Children's Theater of Annapolis, which is a nonprofit organization located over by the Bay Bridge. We do 3 main stage productions a year, as well as offer a host of classes, workshops, summer camps. That takes up a lot of my time as well.
And what's the ages of that?
That is ages 5 through 18.
Okay. So no, very diverse, and I think that's something, I think as a fellow mom, I loved when we both connected for the first time, because I was like, wow, you're just so interesting, you're so dynamic, you have all these great things going on, and then we throw in that little guy of yours, and it was like a perfect match for us here in Anne Arundel County.
I think so too.
Good. Well, thank you so much. So somebody watching, and I think even knowing the benefit that I get from the School Nutrition Association as one of their members, what is a contributing editor? What do you do? Like, what is your day job? And somebody watching, what are the great things that you are able to write about and just kind of change all the operators in the schools like myself and enhance what we are able to do?
Sure. So like you mentioned, I'm a contributing editor for School Nutrition Magazine. That's the flagship publication of the School Nutrition Association, which has more than 55,000 members across the country. And that includes everyone from the people at the top, people like you, the food service directors, or people who work at the Board of Education, down to the people who are cashiers, food service cooks, line workers in the schools itself. I've been with the School Nutrition Association since 2012. Now, for quite a while, I was on staff for the publication as their managing editor. A few years ago, I decided that I was ready to take my career to being a full-time freelance writer. However, I wasn't really willing to give up writing for School Nutrition Magazine because I love writing about school meals so much. Luckily, I was able to stay on as a contributing editor, which simply means that I'm an editor for the magazine, but I'm not on staff for the association anymore.
And how do you decide? Like, how do you decide what you're going to write about for the School Nutrition members?
We have a great team at School Nutrition Magazine. It's headed by editor Patty Fitzgerald, who has been writing about school meals for more than 25 years. So if there's anyone who has her finger on the pulse of school meals, it's her. So we meet regularly to talk about what are we seeing across the country, whether we're seeing it from people posting on Facebook, we're getting letters or emails in from the membership saying, this is what we're doing, isn't it awesome? Or going out and visiting school districts and people who aren't really willing to brag about their programs, but they're doing really cool things. We want to bring a spotlight to that.
And I think that's a little bit of how we were, I guess, connected, right?
Yeah.
And it was about the school meals. And I remember, when you came out, and I think you talked to me, and we talked about the great work that we do here in Anne Arundel County. But I think at the same token, I was like, I want to see what else you're writing about. And I want to hear about somebody else's district and what are they doing, looking at their trends or their recipes or how do they make things happen in their districts.
Exactly.
Looking at us, we're large, right? So we are the 5th largest in the state of Maryland. We're, I believe, in the top 40, or I think we're at 46 for the nation. So it's nice for us to be able to go and look at other things. But you also get to go out. And I think you might not be in districts all the time, but we're thrilled to have you here, and you have been in our district. But when you go out, you probably see other things in their districts. Can you share anything about that? And then I'd love to talk about when you get to go on a farm visit, or you get to do something like that, because we love farm visits in Anne Arundel County.
One of the perks of being an editor for School Nutrition Magazine is the ability to travel fairly frequently. However, I'm not in districts as much as I wish I could be. In my ideal world, I'd probably go into a new district every couple of months because I think it's so inspiring to see the school nutrition professionals doing what they do best. But I am lucky to go at least once a year. Recently, it's been covering an event called the Schwan's Chef Collective, in which Schwan's, the company, which is a big K-12 industry member, invites celebrity chefs in to one district per year to come up with new recipes for that district. They sit down and they talk about what's working, what's not working. They talk about it with the food service director, the employees, and of course the students. Some notable people who are part of that group is Chef Jet Tila from the Food Network and Chef Adrian Cheatham from Top Chef. And so last year I was able to go into Charleston Public Schools, which was a really amazing experience. But what I thought was really cool was that when the food service director found out that I lived in Annapolis, he said, I love their program. Their Harvest of the Month program inspired us to do something similar here.
Oh, that is so awesome. And I think that's the collaboration that we love to see as directors. So how cool, right? That you're here from the hometown, part of Anne Arundel County Public Schools, and somebody knew about us.
Yes.
The Harvest of the Month, I love. And I know we're going to talk about it when we saw it at your son's school, right? And it was, it's always the first Friday of the month for somebody watching. It's sometimes something new, something they've never tried before, but because we've been doing it for so many years and we're seeing these students interested in these great different fruits and vegetables, for instance, jicama, we put jicama on and we said, I wonder if the kids are going to get really excited about it and it's going to fit into this color of the rainbow. But I'm having managers calling back saying, can you put it on the salad bar? We want to see it on the salad bar every day.
That's so cool.
So it's neat to know that others are looking at our videos, they're seeing the videos that we produce, especially when we go to the farm. What better way to really show our students of Anne Arundel County who their farmer is, where their food comes from, how it's harvested, how it's nurtured, the whole, from seed until it's on their tray in Anne Arundel County is really fantastic.
Farm to table, farm to school.
We love it. So when you were in there and they were doing recipes, right? So was there any kind of trend or any kind of recipe that you saw there or that you're seeing throughout? I mean, we look at trends, but as the contributing editor, what are you seeing and how do you know it's a trend?
Well, you can tell when something's a trend because all of a sudden everyone is talking about it everywhere. A perfect example of a trend that has popped up everywhere that maybe you're seeing here in Anne Arundel County too is coffee at the high school level. All of a sudden everyone wants to offer coffee bars to their students. But going back to the farm fresh produce, for the past couple of years, farm to school has been a massive trend across the country. And working at School Nutrition magazine, what you really see, and having your finger on what's going on nationally culinary at the commercial restaurant level, is you see that whatever trend is in the restaurants, it's going to start to trickle down. Maybe first it's going to trickle from a regular restaurant to a quick service restaurant, and then it's going to trickle down to the college and university dining level. It's making its way down to K-12 because I think you know this, the students want to have in their schools what they are getting out in the real world. So nationally, farm to table is a huge, huge trend and has been for the past couple years. So it only makes sense that now farm to school is its own. And so we see even variations of this. We see sea to school as well. And that's people buying local fish from local fishmongers and bringing it in and serving it in school.
Wow. Yeah, so we have not, for Anne Arundel County, I think we've really been very active with it since like about 2007. We really started to focus and say, from our produce vendor, how are they buying? Where are they buying from? Do we know those farms? And the relationships that we've built over these past few years has really, it's been priceless for us as a district. I think we're not only helping that local farmer, so their economies of scale for what they're doing and are purchasing all the product from them, but to know that that is really harvested in a field and in Anne Arundel County Public Schools days later is just a wonderful thing to be able to do. And just highlight them every time we can. Our farmers call us on the phone. They want to know if they have something that we didn't buy enough, or are we buying it? We put it into our bid language, so it really has been on the forefront for us in Anne Arundel County. And
there's something so exciting for students to know that that was grown just down the street. It wasn't shipped across the country. It was just, it's grown right around here, and for some kids that can make all the difference in whether or not they try a new vegetable or fruit.
And in our Tasting of the Rainbows, we put the farmer in there, right? So you could see the beautiful farm and all the acreage, and they're everything from their tractors to how they're planting plants, to actually hearing their voice. And we have both female and male farmers that we have visited, and I think it's always fun because I often could have a younger girl say to me, like, is she the farmer? And she really is the farmer. So I think it's so cool to be able to bring that piece of the outside world, because there's not a lot of local farms in our county itself, but all of our students get to be exposed to them that first Friday of every month.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about trends, because I think we really are looking at trends. One item that we added more recent than not is Korean barbecue meatball.
Yes.
Whew. We couldn't believe it, and we said it's a little bit spicy, it's got that little bit of a tang, and I love that you said it's all about the students, because that's what we do. So when we look at something as one of the registered dietitians, and I'm still the registered dietitian that does the menu, I look at it and I say, is it a balanced meal? How do we make sure that it has the best nutrients? And like, we look at the sodium and the sugars and the fats, everything, right? So we want to make sure it's so nutritionally sound. It has to be a right price, because we're still very economical. Our meals are so inexpensive for the parents that I know we're going to talk about. But then it's got to taste great for kids.
Yes.
And it's those kind of flavor profiles that we're seeing. So it's not about chicken nuggets in pizza at all.
I'm so excited to hear that you're doing this Korean bulgogi bowl, because if you look at the national trends culinary, you'll see, like, for example, the National Restaurant Association, every year they give out their what's hot for the year. And ethnic food, and specifically Asian flavors, are always on that list. And specifically, they'll often call out that ethnic flavors on kids' menus are on that list. People tend to think that kids don't like spicy. They don't like anything super flavorful. And maybe that's true for some kids. My son personally is not quite ready for very spicy food, but overall, we see that kids do like spicy, and they are willing to try new things all the time.
Yeah, and the sriracha sauce and the hot
They
sauce.
love sriracha. They love it.
Right, and we see them, it's going right on the tray, so it goes out for a condiment for us, and everybody's like, oh, I don't even think the students are going to use that.
Oh,
and they put that condiment out there, and it's used. So it's an often fun, exciting time for us, because we look out there and we want to go see what's at a mall, what's the, the quick service restaurants that are popping up. What are they really looking at? So is it more of a power bowl or a quinoa bowl, or is it going to be the noodle bowls? Is it a baked potato bar, and we're going to have all of our different proteins and vegetables going on the potato? So it's really, really fun, and I think the best part is having our students be part of it. So when we test, and somebody's probably asking, well, you never tested at my school. We test at schools all the time.
Yeah.
So when we just go, it could be a high school up north, it could be a middle school in the middle of the county, it could be an elementary school out west. We constantly rotate where we test all of our products with our kids, and it really does. If it doesn't work in all of our locations, we typically put it back to the drawing board and see what we have to do, because maybe it's not right. We really want it to be right for our whole county. We don't offer something in one school if it's not going to be offered in all of our schools.
And allowing kids to taste test and give their feedback, I think that's really important. They want to be part of the process. They know what they like, they know what they don't like, and if you ask their opinion, they're going to tell you. And that is such valuable feedback for creating a successful program.
Right, and we also go back to the manufacturers. So manufacturers might say to us, well, what do you mean they didn't like that pizza? It's great. It's been so well received from all over, and I'm picking on pizza, but it could be any of the products, and we're like, no, here's exactly what they told us. It is too spicy, or it's too bland, or it doesn't have enough pepper, or they want it to be more colorful, right? Because they're also looking at the colors of what are in our what's in the entrees. And we currently, all of our menus are posted online. So I know our elementary still get one home, and it's hung on the refrigerator. And I think this is where we'll start talking, and let's put our mom hats on.
Sure, yes, let's do it.
So it's amazing, again, everything you do as your contributing editor and the role that you have with the School Nutrition Association. So for that, we in Anne Arundel County thank you, and we thank the School Nutrition Association.
Thank you.
But let's switch over to the mom hat.
Okay.
And I think it's the most fun of what we've been able to do. So the first time we met was this in a summer, and we were at a farmer's market.
Yes.
And you said, I've got my son, and he's going to be in kindergarten in Anne Arundel County. How can I come out to see everything that we do? And we're going to talk about our farmer's market, but how do we get him to meet us? And how do we get him to have a summer meal, which is very similar to our regular meal?
Yeah, I remember the day very vividly. You invited me out to the Brooklyn Park Farmer's Market, and I thought, I would love to go do this, but you know what? My son, his preschool is closed that day, so I'm really sorry, but I don't think I can come because I'm going to have this 5-year-old in tow. And you said, no, no, no.
He needs
this
to come.
This is perfect. Please bring him along. And guess what? I was so happy that I did, because he not only got exposed to everything you have to offer at the Brooklyn Park Farmers Market, but you gave him a little introduction to buying school meals. He's a shy guy. He warms up real easily, but at first he is hiding behind me. He doesn't like to try new things. It really scares him. So in my mind, as much as I know and love about school meals, in my mind I thought, I just don't know if he is going to feel comfortable going through a school lunch line by himself when he starts kindergarten in the fall. But we took care of that because you took him through that school lunch line at Brooklyn Park Middle School and showed him exactly what to do. And guess what? Probably from day 2, he was buying school lunch at Piney Orchard Elementary School.
Yeah, and I think watching his experience going through that line, I mean, I remember it vividly because he was shy and a little bit quiet.
Yeah.
And then I think just going through, you could just see, like, the smile came. I think his confidence came with it. I think he sat down. I think he loved it.
He loved it.
It was the combo.
The combo.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it had all of his favorite things. It had yogurt, it had goldfish, it had carrots. He just loved it.
Yeah, I think he was super excited, and I think we sat at a table with some other youngsters. I think he was able to see that exchange that you can have in our school cafeterias. They're so welcoming and inviting, the cafeteria itself. So it was really, I think, a win-win for us, and we loved that you were able to, bring him to the market.
Yes.
So at the market, we do tons of other things, right?
So cool.
It's one of our favorite things because it is a summer meal site. So once that bell rings and we know our students are off for the summer, we often say, how do we get food to them? How can we really keep them nurtured and fueled for fun all summer long, but fueled for when they're coming back for learning? So we had a free summer meal site at Brooklyn Park Middle, and then we knew it was a food desert. We knew they lacked access to those healthy fruits and vegetables. There just wasn't a lot of availability for the community members up there. So we said, let's put a farmer's market right at Brooklyn Park Middle, right in the bus lot, right up front. And let's offer those free summer meals at the same time. In turn, we brought all of the county agencies with us. Department of Health was right there first with us. We have our library, we have fire, we have police, we have rec and parks, we have Department of Aging, we have the WIC office. Our local farmer, Mr. Schlegel, who's fantastic, who grows for us all year long. And you were able to see as a family, and you having your son there, it could be a destination.
I live about 20 minutes away, and I thought after visiting it, it was at the end of the summer, and I thought, why didn't I know about this at the beginning of the summer? Next year, we're going to be here every week. It is so cool. I brought my son, and again, he was shy. He didn't really want to go up to any of these tables. He didn't want to talk to anybody, but you brought him over to that fire truck from the Department of Fire and got him to get into that fire truck, and all of a sudden, it was like, game on.
Yeah.
We're going to have a good time.
I think we get excited, just like the kids get excited when the fire truck comes. We're like, oh, we have to get in the next fire truck, you know, because they bring the fire truck, the fireboat. Police are there. They talk all about, just their health and safety and their role in the communities. So it really is. For anybody watching, it's going to be always every summer at Brooklyn Park. It's always on a Monday between 11 and 2. As soon as school's out, we're going to be open at that Brooklyn Park Farmers Market.
And what I really loved there was your passport to produce. So you gave Alexander a card that had every department on it, and if he visited every table, he got a prize. Well, what better way to get a 5-year-old to do something than to say, you get a prize? So he did it. He visited every one. He got his passport to produce checked out. And this was, I think, my favorite part. Instead of getting a little prize of a little plastic toy that he's going to play with in the car ride home, and then it's going to fall under my seat, I'm never going to see it again, he got a pint of blackberries, which he was so excited about. He loves blackberries, and it's probably the best prize he has ever gotten.
Yeah, and it's even set up at the smaller table, right? So for those who've never been there, please come out and check it out. But we have the kids' passport table, so it's a lower table, so it takes, it's the appropriate level for our younger students as well as our older students, and they get to pick. The farmer usually puts 2 different fruits or vegetables out there, and it's their own personal selection. So they get to eat them there, they get to take them home.
Pretty sure they was eaten in the car on the way home. It was the best snack.
I think sometimes we see students go over there, they literally pick their produce or they pick their fruit, they sit right down right there at that table, and then they eat it. And we love it. We think it's a perfect way, and it's such a nice way for everybody who's at that market to showcase something and talk about something. So for instance, the food service table, we give samples. So we don't just say try watermelon. We do a yellow watermelon and a red watermelon. So we could say to our youngsters or our adults, have you ever tried yellow watermelon before? Here, try both. See if there's a difference. Is one sweeter? Is one juicier? You know, is there a texture difference? So it's a nice way that we can all do something that every week. So when your son comes back next year and he's there every Monday, he's going to learn 10 different things. 10 different pieces of equipment are going to be there from the fire. Police are going to share 10 different items or tips or anything that we could do to enrich and enhance the youngsters and the families' lives.
It's a great community resource.
Yeah, we absolutely love it. So thank you for coming to that, and then please come again.
I plan on it.
So with that, let's tie in our police officers, because we do stuff with the police and fire and summer meals, but we do something at Piney Orchard.
Yeah.
So we have the police officers come out and they do a lunch buddies, and I know we're slated to try to see a lunch buddies together. So it's another great way to have the, not the firefighters, but the police officers in that Western District come out. They engage with the students. They do one grade level only, so they could sit and eat with the students. They go through the salad bar line. They're selecting their school lunch, and they're filling half of their tray with fruits and vegetables. So it's a great way to role model.
Yes.
And it's a great way to really to look at the police officer in a friendly fashion and see that relationship that they can build with their communities that they serve.
Yes. Not only are they able to meet someone who could be a potential role model in so many different ways, but one thing you and I were talking about was really the input of, or the peer pressure in some ways for kids to try new foods. I know with my son, there are certain foods that just, I try to put a new vegetable on his plate at home, and it's, as my husband said the other day when I tried to get him to eat roasted carrots, it was like an Oscar-worthy performance of how much he just did not want to eat them. But he will eat something at school that I thought he would never try because he's going to see a friend eating it, or maybe that police officer is also eating it and saying, hey buddy, why don't you try this too? And he says, okay, that sounds great.
Yeah, so let's talk about our visit at the school.
Sure, let's try it. Yeah,
I had a ball. So anybody watching, if you're a parent and you want to come and see school meals, please come see school meals.
I think a lot of people don't realize that they can come in and have lunch with their students.
They can have lunch. They can see firsthand the awesome meals that we serve. I'm so proud of the work that our staff does. Our salad bars, hands down, are just beautiful. They're colorful. They're plentiful. We have anywhere between 8 and 15 fruits and vegetables on those salad bars.
It's amazing.
And we were able to meet at the school, and we met with one of our area folks, and Alex didn't know we were coming.
He didn't.
Right. So we said, let's kind of put our mom hats on and almost stand behind the line so we couldn't see. And I think you were very interested, right? You wanted to see how would he react in line.
What would he try, or what would he pick without my influence, saying, hey buddy, why don't you try that thing or that thing or that thing? And I remember that day you had pizza, you had zesty fish sticks, and you had a salmon salad on the menu. And I thought, and plus the combo that you have every single day. And I thought, I know my kid, and he's either going to choose the pizza or he's going to choose the combo. But I stood behind the line, he couldn't see me, and he went through, and then I popped out, and there he has the zesty fish sticks on his tray. And I thought, do I even know my son? Because he was willing to try something new, and that's what I love about school meals. That is why I choose to have him eat a school meal almost every single day rather than packing him something. Not only is it a lot easier for me during those busy mornings that I don't have to worry about trying to get something put together, but I know that he is going to keep trying things. He comes home regularly and says, oh, today I had this, or today I had that. And I thought, I never expected you to pick that out of all the entree items on the menu today.
And you probably, do you post? I mean, I'm sure everybody always tells me the menu, in secondary school we don't send it home anymore, but you know, it gets posted, and I think a lot of parents, and I think it's a great thing that you do with your son, right? You kind of say, here's the menu for the week.
Yep. We look at it every single day. I say, these are the options for the day, and a lot of times he'll tell me what he wants to get, but then he'll come home and he'll say, oh, I want the combo. But then he'll come home and say, well, actually, I had the crispy chicken sandwich today, and I thought, I said, you liked it? And he goes, yeah, I really liked it.
Yeah, and I think once they get in line, they get to see, right? So we're going to have all of the entrees right there on the serving, in the serving table, serving line, and then all the fruits and vegetables. So they get to see. They might have wanted one thing, but once they got there, even maybe like our fish sticks, right? Like once he got there, it's like, ooh, I think they really look good.
Yeah.
That's what I would like to try.
Yeah, and you know, we sometimes underestimate the power of eye appeal, but when you really have all those beautiful, colorful fruits and vegetables out. And I ask him every single day when he comes home, I say, what do you have for lunch? And he'll tell me what entree he chose. And I say, what do you have with it? And he goes, oh, I had an apple with it, and I had, this fruit and vegetable. And one of our funniest conversations on the way home is that he could not remember the name for cherry tomatoes. And we spent the whole walk home, which is, we live almost a mile from the school, trying to figure out what those little red things with seeds in them were. And we were thinking strawberry, we were thinking raspberry. Now finally it comes out he had cherry tomatoes with his lunch. He couldn't remember the name for them.
And I think we see those go often with the students. And I think you were able to see there, right? So somebody who's never seen our line. So the colors are beautiful,
so beautiful.
But we allow our students in Anne Arundel County, we really encourage them to fill half of their tray with fruits and vegetables. But more importantly, they don't have to take a half a cup of peaches or a half a cup of kiwi. They could take a cantaloupe wedge, some watermelon. They can do some cherry tomatoes. They could do some of our schools do peppers, and they just leave them whole. So they do the whole circle, and they just cut out the webbing in the inside. It looks so pretty on the salad bar. So they do the 3 colors of the peppers, but they're all in a big circle. So it's almost like the rings of the Olympics.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And it looks so beautiful. And I think there was, even when we were at Piney Orchard, I think one of the students had them lined up that way. So it's amazing to see it happen, that the students amongst themselves encourage each other to try the different things and put something else. And hey, do you like it? I'm going to try that. Or if his friend tries it, your son's going to be like,
And I like that you don't force them to take, a full half cup or a full cup of anything. And I try to implement this at home too. That sometimes when you just put too much on a child's plate, it's overwhelming to them visually, and in the end they're just going to say, I don't want to eat all of that, so I'm not going to eat any of it at all. You let them just take a couple of this and a couple of that, they're a lot more likely to try it, and you have less plate waste, which is a big problem in school meals.
Right.
Kids who are forced to take something that they don't want, and so they throw it away. And from what you've told me, you don't have as much of that plate waste problem here in Anne Arundel County Public Schools.
Correct, and it's because we really implemented those salad bars so long ago. So it's always been in our county, and we wanted to encourage all of our youngsters and our older students, right? Pick a few little things, even that a 1/4 wedge of kiwi. It might be the first time you try the kiwi, and you might like it and say, I don't know if I really like it a lot, but you try it again.
Yeah.
So it's all those bites, and I think it makes the tray look beautiful, and I think it allows our students to really explore at a much greater.
From what I've learned, it takes a child anywhere from 3 to 5 times being offered one new food for them to accept it. So just having it out there and having it available to them, they're more likely to eventually say, yes, I want to try it. And they might not like it the first time, but then they'll say, yes, I want to try it again. And they're a convert.
That's perfect. So we're down to, we're going to have to close here in like a minute. So
Amazing.
Just for somebody watching, I think us both being moms, we know the value. But if you had somebody watching and they said, why really should my son or daughter buy a school meal? What would you say, just knowing what you've experienced with your son?
Even from talking to my neighbors, I think a lot of people are afraid to have their child buy that school lunch the first time. They're not sure what to do. They're not sure how to put money in the account. They're not sure if their child will eat it and might come home hungry. I say trust your child. Believe that they are going to try something new and they're going to like it. And then if it works out, you don't have to pack a lunch every morning, and isn't that great for a busy mom?
Yeah, and it's packed full of nutrition, keeping them fueled for learning all day long.
All day.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming, and thank you for all that you do for the School Nutrition Association and as being a mom for your son.
Thank you for having me.
As you can see, it's so important to have the School Nutrition Association here with us in Anne Arundel County, and we constantly connect with our parents. If you have any questions, please give me a call at 410-222-5900. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time on Food for Thought.
Hey, great news! Cigarette smoking among teens
is way down.
Way down.
That's awesome, but we have way more work to do.
Some kids our age
think vapes are safer than cigarettes.
but they're not.
And others are still smoking flavored tobacco.
Like hookah and cigarillos.
Big tobacco companies give them flavors
like chocolate and strawberry.
So we won't think that it's bad for us.
But they're just as bad.
The vapor from e-cigarettes
is not a harmless water vapor.
The vapor can still contain nicotine,
heavy metals,
and dangerous toxins.
Smoking hookah for 45 minutes
has just as much tar and nicotine
as smoking a whole pack of cigarettes.
And vapes are so new that we don't even know what the long-term health risks are yet.
Let's show them that we're not an easy sale.
We're not about to get owned.
That we're not about to get owned for profit.
Join the movement.
Join the movement.
Join the movement.
Let's end smoking and vaping today.